Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Michael.
Come on.
And we are the Knights of Entertainment, a podcast covering your favorite and unknown movies, games, comic books, anime, and more weekly. We appreciate you being here and hope you enjoy the show. This is what we are covering tonight. We are going over Season 3 of Overlord and doing a recap of that. Next week we'll have Season 4 and we will be done with it. But before we do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can enjoy the show on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, Odyssey, and more. We also have membership tiers on those platforms if you'd like to support the channel, or you can check out buymeacoffee.com/KOE podcast.
Can I, on a side note, just say how weird the show Even Stevens was?
I agree.
Like, looking back at it now as an adult, I'm like, that show was... like, it might... If those people that grew up watching Even Stevens, it might explain a lot of your mental state and sense of humor.
I mean, if you grew up watching South Park too. So
I did not. I grew up watching Even Stevens. My palate hadn't matured enough for South Park.
Or Family Guy.
But something about Even Stevens as a kid, I was like, this is like, it was subversively funny, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Shia LaBeouf's character now, like, resonates more as an adult than it did when you watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's always the truly unique characters that just resonate with you forever.
And you'll always remember.
And I gotta see if I can find that show on TV somewhere.
I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe Paramount Plus they have a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. Or was it Disney? I think it was Disney.
No, it's Tubi's got it.
If Tubi has Even Stevens, you'll be hearing every episode of Even Stevens. Oh, man. I wish they hadn't had that rule about like only 60-something episodes of series or some shit.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a stupid Disney rule.
On another side note, did you notice that the Nickelodeon stars didn't ever become as fucked up as the Disney stars?
I had no idea.
I mean, look at Britney Spears.
I think I did it. She made me believe that we were more than just friends.
Oh, I figured it was just because you were toxic.
Oh, baby, can't you see? You know what's funny? Like, I'm not much of I'm not saying like I hate Britney Spears. Like, yeah. I'm not like a huge fan of her music, but some of her songs just get you. You know what I mean?
No, but
I just be like, I'll be sitting in the car like, oh, baby, can't you see? I just can't help it. That girl knows her music.
Well, it was by
a guy like you should come with a warning.
Well, remember, they were all written by a Swedish songwriter. So,
well, whoever that person is, you are talented.
He's still around, I think. Making songs like that. Super famous, too.
Cool.
All right. Episode 1. To change subjects completely.
A completely different genre of content.
Yes, absolutely. Again, Season 3 has 13 episodes, the same as every other season of Overlord.
I do love when it's perfect.
It's always nice.
Anything that's offsetting drives me to madness.
Episode 1 is called A Ruler's Melancholy. We start off following the events in Riestes. Ainz has some of his floor guardians take the day off. It's kind of a little bit of a filler episode.
Oh, it is?
A little bit. It still gives you different information about different characters, but...
Like the one Dragon Ball Z filler episode when Goku and Piccolo try to get the driver's license.
Yeah.
And I still to this day have never seen.
You still haven't seen that one?
I don't think it showed it on Cartoon Network for some reason.
They may have not.
Because like it would just like...
It is a very funny episode.
It would show like the preview at the end of the last episode,
mm-hmm.
But then it would skip over to the next episode after that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Really?
But being a kid, I never really noticed.
Yeah, because I remember that episode. It was fucking hilarious.
Also, I watched Frieza get like... I watched Goku go Super Saiyan for like 57 episodes.
Yeah.
Like that Frieza saga lasted forever. The end of it, my God.
And that's the one thing I do like about Overlord and a couple of the others is that there's not really filler episodes. Because Bleach had them, Naruto had them. One Piece has very few of them.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I think like
compared to the width of One Piece that has such little filler episodes.
I think this was like 10% only.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
Bleach had like 44%.
Oh my God.
And then Naruto had like 40.
Jesus, that's a lot of filler.
Yeah, that's a lot of filler for the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're all taking the day off. The ladies, Albedo, Shaltir, and Aura, spend time by the 6th floor lake where Albedo learns that she cannot ride her bicorn due to her being a pure maiden. To ride a bike horn, you have to basically be a slut.
Be a her.
Yeah. She's pure.
She better get busy then.
She's a succubus and she's never...
Suck the bitch.
Yeah. To the other two, shock. They're like, oh, you're a succubus and you've never...
Like their vaginas are all worn out.
While Ainz sends a memo to the male floor guardians to meet later at the bathhouse gathering for relaxation and stuff like that.
I like to see like the memo, like it's just like a letter.
It is a piece of paper.
Just fucking rips it when I was in. The random mailman going up from one floor to the other.
Well, no, he makes them hand it off to each other, so like it's secret.
Oh. I think a little mailman would be hilarious. Got your man here. Floor 6.
Later on, as Ainz is in his personal quarters practicing his overlord posturing, so he's practicing how to be
The Overlord.
where he's telling like he's standing in front of a mirror saying, "I demand silence." Look, he's just trying to practice. Since his real personality is not an overlord and
Right.
just a normal person, he's having to put on this act still of. Because he still thinks that if they ever found out that he's not really this like extremely dangerous overlord, that they might kill him. So he's been putting on this act this whole time because he doesn't know how they're gonna react. So he's in his room practicing that. He exits to meet with Mare and Albedo, but after a heartfelt admission of joy over having them in his life, Albedo succumbs to her lust and tries to have sex with Ainz in his office. She basically jumps on top of him and almost rapes him. It's a very odd episode.
Does he have a penis?
I don't think so.
That's a lot.
Skeleton.
It's a lot harder for her to think that. Just crushing down, just crushes his pelvis. Like, oh, my pelvis.
And it's with the total efforts of all the guards and Mare that
Not only the gay guardian, but the 17 celestial guardians. Like 167,000 angels had to stop the ripper vagina off of his face.
they had to remove her. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
In the evening, the men are relaxing in the spa
You
house,
got thirsty, but then you got thirsty.
and she is very, very, very thirsty.
Girl is dry. She's so thirsty.
Just a shriveled husk. So in the evening of that same day, the men are relaxing in the spa house, but they hear Albedo blatantly try to climb the wall because they're like, Lord Ainz is in the other side, and she's trying to climb over.
Like he just fucking punched through the sky and then boom.
Well, they're making fun of her because they're saying, "God, you're hairy." The women on the other side of the wall of the spa house,
She got a lot of
I would assume so.
nice.
And she stomps whenever they come into the bathhouse area. All you hear is stomping from her because she's still heavy. Whenever she climbs,
They do the T-Rex scene from the Jurassic Park where the coffee just get vibrating.
no, if I remember right, the water shakes like the pool.
Sometimes I like when they do references from other movies. It's always hilarious to me.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, they do the Yamcha crater defeat everywhere.
yeah, they do that a lot.
They have besmirched that man's poor names across every multiverse of,
And he's never been able to redeem himself.
you seen that weird, like popularity list on, like, the most popular white-haired, characters in anime? And number 2 is Zoro
Really?
with his green hair.
Right? Like, it makes no damn sense.
That's the point. Is that not great? I did that one from that Jew something, the
Jujutsu Kaisen,
the Yoda guy.
Gojo.
He's like one, and then there's Zoro's right underneath. That's Zoro for you.
And then it's usually the old men that all have the gray hair or white
Like,
hair.
you got Kakashi, you got like everyone with white hair, but like Zoro's number 2.
It's like that.
It's like I think it's like a double thing. Like it's like the fact that Zoro's just that popular, and that the joke is that he always ends up in the wrong place because he doesn't have the right lost the right thing.
He's in a white hair,
Yeah.
green hair. Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
it's a very good joke though. It's like he does because he's always his direction's so bad. Yeah. All right. So when Albedo tries to blatantly climb the wall, The defense golem, programmed by Lucifer, which was one of the guild members of the time, attacks them for lacking bathing manners.
From bathing, so you have to have like
Etiquette.
segregated bathrooms.
Yes.
Or bath houses.
Bathhouses, yeah. Like the hot spring type bathhouses.
Speaking of
within the guild.
Speaking about bathhouses, this is my vault of random knowledge. So what's his name? Hugh Jackman was at he was in Japan doing the Wolverine movie, right?
Yeah.
And he was at one of those male bathhouses, and he didn't know that the etiquette was to be covered. So him being, fucking like 6'4", Hugh Jackman, right? Just jacked to the gills. He's just walking around ass naked with a tiny towel in his hand, right? Dick just swinging. And just all the Japanese are like, and he didn't know. So he's got his dick just fucking dangling for every person. I guess they thought, or he thought that he was trying to show off, but he just, he assumed like you can just be butt naked in a male sauna. So he was.
See, Japanese bathhouses and Korean bathhouses are just a little different.
What's the difference?
A lot of the Korean ones, it's more of like just going completely
ass naked.
Yeah. Japan is a little more,
reserved.
Yeah.
Well, what's the point that I'm having a bathhouse then?
Like once you get into the water, it's fine.
No.
But your etiquette says that you're not supposed to just walk around with it just.
Well, he sure was. Just knocking Japanese men back and forth, out of his way. How random would it be if you're just sitting, right, and you turn your left and Wolverine's dick just comes across your, like, what the fuck? That was Wolverine's cock. You know what I mean? How weird would that be?
That'd be very awkward. And I see you have goals.
No, just ambitions. I want to say dreams.
So after Lucifer's golems start attacking, Ainz orders the male floor guardians to help the ladies, internally hoping next time they will have more time to relax. And that's how the episode ends right there. That's it. Getting ready, getting up for battle, basically. They attack the golems. Because you hear all the stomping and everything from Albedo on the other side still. Episode 2 is titled Carne Village Once More. So Ainz brings together the NPCs to review the grand plan overall, with Demiurge recounting. When really he just wants to learn of the demon's thought process to begin with. So he puts them all together, acting like, yes, Demiurge, tell him your plan that I already know, even though he has no fucking clue what the plan is.
Like, I know how quantum mechanics work, but how about you explain it today?
Right, exactly. It is revealed that all the NPCs are planning world domination, with Ainz completely oblivious to this. So he's finally getting told that they're planning for world.
Oh yeah, because he didn't say like some random offhand comment.
Yeah, just like
they just assumed.
Pretty much, yes. As Demiurge states, this was Ainz's goal all along, ascertained by his actions, starting with Carne Village being subjugated with no casualties and having the residences living peacefully the entire time.
They should let me do the English voiceover, right? Because he would say that, right? And then I would do like the internal monologue, like, fuck. Oh, no.
Well, in the anime itself, they do have the double voice. So they have him talking, and then they have him like,
and I would be like, oh, no.
Like completely just has no idea. He's like, when did they say this? Thus, it meant Ainz wanted world domination and experimenting on ruling his subjects. Meanwhile, at Carne Village, Neferia, which was the pharmacist from season 1, is spending entire nights developing a potion for Ainz. And that was the whole thing that he wanted him to do in that village now. So they moved him from the city that he was in, where he was attacked by Clementine, and the Swords of Darkness killed. So Ainz had him move to Carne Village with that girl that he likes.
What's the potion for?
Healing potion. They're trying to research any kind of new potions.
Okay.
Things that they haven't ever created before.
You ever heard of meth?
It's crystal clear.
A princess blue as the sky.
Well, apparently that's something that they fucked up in Breaking Bad, is they made the meth blue, and that means that there's impurities.
I think they changed it, like...
Because they couldn't show actual Like they wanted it to be more visible on screen and like a hood, basically.
The blue sky.
Yeah.
Because blue meth.
Because it technically, according to
blue, green, purple, whatever. Just give me this. I love Tuco.
Let's see here. So with Henry, she is caring for the Goblin Troop as they teach and protect the village. So she's treating them as residents rather than just summoned monsters, basically, because they have intelligence and they can communicate like normal people. So she treats them like normal people.
They don't have like a Meeseeks complex. Well, Meeseeks been alive for too long.
No.
Our existence is torches. It's cruelty.
And the Goblin Troop is totally different than Goblin Slayer, so they're not doing that kind of stuff.
I'm surprised no one's done so you know how the Meeseeks and Rick and Morty say, look at me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. And you know the scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker's like, tells that one fake Batman, like, look at me.
Yeah.
That would have done an overlap where it would be Mr. Meeseeks' voice, look at me, I'm Mr. Me, look. And then it would cut to the look at the last one.
Yeah.
As like a cutoff of the last one would be the Joker's, but the first would be the Meeseeks.
Yeah.
I don't know, my brain would just... It can't stop sometimes.
That would be funny.
Like, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me. Look at me.
So all right, you have Henry has given names to each of the goblins at this point. So they all...
Louie, Dewey, Louie.
The only new resident to the village is Britta, which was the adventurer that Shaltir had caught and seen that she had a potion in season 1 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who has quit as an adventurer after surviving her encounter with Shaltir.
Took an arrow to the knee.
Basically. After running low on medicinal herbs.
Then what the fuck is Elder Scrolls 6? 6 Elder Scrolls and 6 GTA
Neither one
have taken like 45 years to make.
And neither one of them's ever going to come out.
It sure feels like it at this point.
So after running low on medical herbs, or medicinal herbs, Henry, the girl, Neferia, and 3 goblins search the forest for the said herb. Finding a growing patch, they see a wounded hobgoblin child being hunted by a barghest. So,
what's a barghest?
It is a wolf-type creature with chains around its neck that's almost like phantom-ish.
Oh, a hellhound?
Kind of, yeah.
It's cool.
So the goblins supported by Neferia, kill the dark beast, saving the child. Neferia uses the experimental purple potion to fully heal the goblin child named Agu, the hobgoblin boy.
You know how I know if it was not a child, something comedic would have probably happened. They take the potion, and if it was a goblin like adult, just like he just bursts it, he just like his gut just explodes or something,
or bursts into flames.
Like, oh shit! She takes out her notebook and just marks off that recipe. That one's not gonna work.
They ask Agu what he's running from, basically, and he explains that he was attacked by minions of the Giant of the East, who has allied himself with the Demon Snake of the West. This shifts the balance of power, threatening the village itself.
Damn.
Because the village is close to that forest.
Stuck in the middle of an ass woman.
Yeah, pretty much. You find that basically after the wise king of the forest, which is the hamster, he was the third of that group.
Oh.
So you have the Giant of the East, the Snake of the West, and then you had the wise king of the forest. There were like 3 competing powers within that forest.
East, west? What was the hamster, north or south?
He was the middle.
Oh. So what's north and south?
I guess there are no north and south.
God dang, come on, Overlord. Don't do that to me. You have an east and west or something. You have a north and south as well. Or you'll drive me crazy.
And that's just to fuck with you.
Basically, it seems like it.
And after you get the explanation from Agu, that's how the episode ends for episode 2.
Okay.
Episode 3 is called Henry's Upheaval and Hectic Days.
I like how their titles are more like titles, and the One Piece are just like, in this episode, Ace dies. Like, God damn it.
So you have Henry, Neferia again, and the Goblin Troop. They bring Agu back to the Carne village to inform them of the situation of the Grey Forest. Some time ago, the Monument of Ruin was being built and guarded by undead. So this is basically the fake Nazarick that was being built.
Oh.
That's what it's alluding to anyway. And after the great beast of the south, so I guess he is the south, was Hamsky.
There we go, south.
There is no north.
No north, they better make one.
But that was after he vanished. The Giant of the East allied himself with the Demon Snake of the West to defeat whoever this master of the undead may be. Taking into account a possible threat, Britta goes to inform the Vigilante Committee to ready evacuation procedures, while Neferia asks Lupus Regina, which is the one of the battle maids of Nazarick. Ainz basically had Lupus Regina stay close to the village to kind of guard it. Like, she was its overseer for the most part. So if anything super bad happened, she could defend the village.
Okay.
So he goes to let Lupus Regina know to deliver the purple potion to Ainz with a progress report. While Lupus nominates to ask Ainz for aid, Henry believes they should do work on their own efforts first. Like, try to actually defend themselves first before getting Ainz's help, because they don't need to be bothering Ainz for every little thing anymore. After the meeting, the Goblin Troop warn Agu not to trust Lupus Regina, because they look at her like she's dangerous. So it's like, you stay as far away from her as you can. They don't know that she's part of Nazarick in that kind of like evil way or anything, but they know that the vibe she gives off, that she's more dangerous than she lets on. At night, the Goblin Troop finds the rest of Agu's tribe and a group of ogres. One goblin, Jurgum, instructs Henry to act as an alpha and make them submissive, which works, and they swear their loyalty. She basically goes out there and tells them that she's the leader of that village and she's like the strongest person there. And she's so like aggressive in it. It's like, she's mean. Don't mess with her because they're dumb creatures. So
she walks away, kicks one of the balls, and then it's like, oh damn,
she's aggressive.
The other one's like, God, they just landed.
As the survivors need medical treatment, Neferia may stay up all night while Henry goes to Erantil in the morning. Arriving at the main gate, her goblin General Horn is detected and is about to be put into custody. So whenever she goes to Erantil, they see that she has that goblin horn on her, and it's like, how can a lowly woman such as you have such a great, expensive item? Which was given to her by Ainz in the beginning. So they have her in custody in this guard tower trying to interrogate her, basically, until Momon arrives to vouch for her, and she was released. Because he was like, oh shit, I gave her. But at this point, he looks like Momon, the Raven Black Warrior, and not as Ainz Ulgon, the mage. He pulls one of the guards aside, and then they come running back in. Let her go. Let her go.
Hey, bro, she's gone.
As Henry goes about her day, Momon covertly allows her to ask the Adventurers Guild for aid with the trouble in the forest. After a hectic day, Henry meets her goblin troop, and she offers new weapons out of thanks for all they have done for her village, with the troop in a state of intense gratitude afterwards. Upon return, Henry is voted as the new village chief, which she really doesn't want, but it's like, oh, you got the goblin troop, you can take care of it. But she's taken aback and consults Lupus Regina and Neferia. After a self-reflective talk with Neferia, Henry decides to accept the position. Over the village high above, Lupus Regina is met by Yuri Alpha, another of the battle maids, for summons by Ainz. When asked while she is smiling, Lupus Regina answers that the village's dynamic has shifted, and she would love to see the faces of all the residents in the whole village if it were to be burned down, hoping to see the village destroyed.
Damn.
Yeah, she's a sadist. Like, she wants to see their faces whenever everything that they have is just ruined, even though she's not the one doing it. She just wants to see it happen. So then we go into episode 4, called The Giant of the East, Demon Snake of the West. Ainz reprimands Lupus Regina for her failure to report on Carne Village, because even though she had known about this, about the Demon Snake of the West, and then the Giant of the East, she knew about it, but she didn't inform Ainz at all. The only way Ainz found out about it is whenever Henry went to the Erantil and gave the request from the Adventurers Guild for something to be done about it. So he's kind of mad at her about this. Bitch. Lupus Regina states that she did not think it was important, but Ainz informs her of Neferia's value, the pharmacist, and basically it says that he's ordered him to create new potions, and he'd kind of like him to be alive at this point since they're in this new world. It's like, we don't know what he can create.
I can't make meth if my chemist is dead.
Exactly. So, and he orders her to protect Neferia, Enri, and Lizzie, and Lizzie being Neferia's grandmother. So he wants those three protected at all costs. Afterwards, Ainz and Aura go find the Giant of the East and the Demon Snake of the West to see what sort of monsters they are. They discover the Giant is a large troll named Gu. And it's funny because the giants, they all think that the longer your name is, the less powerful you are. So the shorter your name, the more powerful you are. So whenever he introduces himself as Ainz will go, and he's like, long name. His name Gu. And
I just rips his dick through his asshole. He's like, oh shit.
And the demon snake is a Naga named Ryu Ray. God, I'm gonna fuck this name up.
Ryu Raga.
No. Ryorius.
That's too many R's.
It's too many R's. Ainz offers them to submit or die. Ryorius quickly complies after failing to escape with Aura holding him by the neck and pinning him down to the ground. Because it's like this little girl holding this big-ass snake monster Naga down. However, Gu refuses and the two duel. Gu's attacks...
Who summons what first? Yeah. He said, duel. I play pot of greed in defense mode. It gives me 2 cards. And then I play pot of greed.
Just win.
Gives me 2 more cards. Now I play pot of greed.
It's like a ban.
They banned the shit out of that
card. Gu's attacks prove ineffective, where he's just smacking him with a sword over and over and over. It's like literally doing shit. You got Ainz dusting himself all the entire time, and you even have Gu turn around and slash one of the other giants behind him, and just slash him in half. He's like, sword works. It's like, because he can't figure out, because he can't understand.
Why, Gu?
And Ainz neutralizes him and the remaining trolls and ogres. Afterwards, Ainz has demiurge review the menu for a dinner Ainz is planning when Ainz is informed that the village is under attack and gives Lupus Regina permission to engage. And that's how episode 4 ends. Episode 5 is called 2 Leaders. This starts
2 leaders?
2 leaders.
So how does a 2 leader? A leader like what? The 2 leaders of what?
2 leaders.
We need more methylamine to make more meth.
People, not volume. It starts off with Gu's forces beginning to attack Carne Village. While the Goblin Troop, allied ogres, and the Vigilante Committee prepare to defend the village, the remaining villagers take shelter. As the battle begins at the front gate, Enri and Neferia search the village to ensure everyone is safe whenever they see a troll climbing over the rear gate. So while everybody else is up front, there's a troll climbing in at the back. To prevent the troll from finding the hidden villagers, the two distract it by disguising their odor. So Neferia has a cologne stuff that he can use that he puts on both of them, and it can distract the troll basically, because trolls have a good sense of smell. And then he throws one right at its nose, burns this other kind of potion. It's like an acid, I guess, but he hits the troll right in the face with it on the nose, and kind of nose blinds him.
Yeah.
So, however, the troll catches on eventually, and Neferia tells Enri to run for help and confesses his love for her finally. Neferia continues to fight the troll while Enri gets back up. However, he is overwhelmed by the troll's strength. Just before the troll is about to kill him, Lupus Regina appears and kills the troll instead. She basically just holds her staff above after she just kills this motherfucker. Just stands there, smiling with that crazy sadist smile that she has. The battle at the gate also ends successfully, and Lupus Regina informs Neferia and Enri of Ainz's invitation for them to come to dinner to Nazarick. So Ainz is actually inviting Neferia, Enri, and Enri's little sister to actually come to Nazarick at this point, because nobody else has been invited yet. Episode 6, called Invitation to Death.
Okay.
Right after he just invites them. Invitation to death.
Go on down for dinner. I won't kill you.
It's just death.
I won't kill you.
So the royal mage, yes, the royal mage of the Baharuth Empire, Fluter Paradine, is told that the adamantite adventures of darkness, Momon and Nabe, wish to meet him. Meanwhile, a worker group, Foresight, prepares to take on a mission exploring an undiscovered tomb within the borders of the Riestes Kingdom, which is the kingdom that Irantel and Carne Village are in. The mission appears to be a well-paying, albeit dangerous, but they have accepted it since one of their members, a mage named Arch, needs money to take her two little sisters and escape her heavily in-debt parents who refuse to cut back on their spending.
Welcome to reality.
Yes.
Dang.
Yes. And what's surprising is, okay, in this world, there are guild members and there are worker members. Guild members are part of a guild, obviously. So they take missions that the guild provides, but if anything ever happens, the guild usually has their back. Whereas workers don't have to follow anybody's rules, but they also have to fend for themselves. So it's more of like independence versus like community.
A union and then not a union?
Yeah, basically. And that's a very good way to look at it, though. They meet up with three other worker groups, Green Lead, Heavy Masher, and Tinmu. They have all been hired by a noble of the Baharuth Empire.
What do workers normally do?
Or they just choose whatever jobs they want. They basically do what an adventurer would do, but they don't have the responsibilities that an adventurer does. But they also don't get the benefits. Like, if something goes wrong, they can't fall back on the guild.
So they should just name Jose Gonzalez and Rodrigo. That'll shit your undocumented workers.
They're hired by a noble of the Baharuth Empire, who has also hired Momon and Nabe as extra protection. So he's brought in adventurers to help these workers out.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. But he also hired them because they're adamantite adventurers, like they're high level people. Just before they set off on the job, Momon inquires as the reason why all the workers have agreed to this mission to go look for this tomb. To which they say, money.
Well, why would, it's weird. Why would the nobleman hire the workers if it's such an important mission that he would hire someone of higher caliber?
To protect them.
But why would
they get there?
Yeah, that's the jive. If I was a worker, but I didn't say jive with me at all. If this is important to me, you wouldn't hire a worker. You'd hire the guild.
Yeah.
I don't want this job now.
Well, the Baharuth Empire doesn't have the Adventurers Guild. Only workers.
Oh.
Whereas the Riestes Kingdom, they have...
It would have still set off alarms in my head.
Yeah.
Now, you know, all of a sudden, you want to protect the workers that are basically unskilled labor or like throwaway, you know what I mean? Like you just hire, like throw a stone and you hit a worker.
Yeah.
You hire another level of explorers to protect the workers.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't jive with me at all.
Yeah.
And Sherlock Cap would come on.
And like whenever you have Einzel going basically in the form of Momon the Black Warrior guarding them, whenever he asks the workers, it's like, so why are you deciding to go to this tomb, to this newly discovered tomb, and raid it?
Dinero, senor.
Yeah. And then he looks at me, he's like, a truly worthless question to ask then. Like, it just, because he was trying to, like, are you doing it out of adventure? Are you doing it out of, like, some other reason?
I got 57 kids back.
I need the pesos homes, basically. And that's how that episode ends.
I'd be that one worker that would escape because there's no goddamn way I would trust his noble.
Yeah. You also, again, you met this worker group, because instead of adventure group, it's a worker group called Foresight, though. So you have the warrior, you have an elf girl, you have a little maid girl that's trying to get her money for her sisters to leave with her completely away from this noble family. And then you have a cleric where it's like, you meet this whole group and you get their backstory and everything, and then we move into episode 7 called Butterfly Entangled in the Spider's Web.
Just shredded to pieces, all of them.
Oh, it gets bad. The workers, they arrive at Nazariq, because that's the tomb that they had found, obviously. So they're walking into death automatically. And briefly explore the outside and discover immense riches. So Einzel Gone has basically left stuff out there in the outside, like mausoleums and stuff like that. He left money out there. Like, here's your money. Take it.
A red flag too.
Exactly.
Like, just money just here, and no one ever taking it
And
before.
nobody's ever messed with it.
No traps, nothing. I'm leaving.
But being the greedy people that they are, they all decide to move deeper
I
inside.
value one thing above all. Well, I value two things about all money and all.
Yeah.
My dick and my life.
Which one comes first?
My dick. As long as my dick works, I gotta be completely comatose. if I find like there's something about it is offset, right, or like something is in my head not like meshing, like just alarms going off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting out of there with my dick in my life. Like if I lose my dick, I just lost my life basically.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a freak.
And all
That money would not be enough for me to stay.
well, like at this point, you could take that money and leave.
But it would say, I'd be like, why is it just here? Would be my, like, there's no fucking way I'm touching it.
Like, nah.
Even if it was, if we're not allowed to.
Right.
Like, what if it was to, like, is it poison? Is it cursed?
Right.
Is it going to set off a trap? I would just leave regardless.
It's like, fuck this. I'm out. I'm done.
I'm going to go find a hooker and get some banging and be done with my day.
But apparently, these are the workers were not that smart. So they decided
Well, they need me.
They decided to go further into the tomb, except for the Greenleaf workers, because it's an older warrior where
Oh, yeah, the older ones are always the ones that are,
he's like
the ones that are stayed alive longer are the ones that know more, you know what I mean?
he's basically he stays out. He tells the other worker group, he's like, yeah, I'll let y'all go ahead and go in there. He's like, but if we can find a quicker route, we'll take that cut instead. Like the cut of the money that they find and stuff like that. He's like, but for us letting you go in first, we want a percentage of whatever you find. And they're all, oh yeah, that's fine. We agree to that. So he decides to stay outside as a guard and looks for other routes inside, while also secretly using those other groups as canaries.
Yeah, that's what he was.
He's not that stupid.
He's me, except more cruel.
Mm-hmm. Much more. Inside of Nazarick, the groups are quickly separated in their eagerness to find more treasure. So they kind of break out because they think, oh, it's just skeletons. This ain't shit. It's all low-level skeletons coming at them. It's basically just cannon fodder that not that Ainz created, but the Tomb of Nazarick automatically spawns low-level skeletons and stuff like that he puts nothing to. It just generates them. So that's what they meet. Is these low-level, nobody characters in the beginning.
You know what caused my distrust of everything? Is when I find too much ammunition in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Away. A lot of shotgun shells all of a sudden for some reason. And then right into the next thing is a boss fight.
Yep. So outside, Greenleaf encounters the Pleiades. So him staying outside still didn't help him any because the Pleiade battle may just come out.
I gotta fuck my way out of this. So much. Just gotta fuck my way out of this.
But instead of them engaging directly, they summon a series of powerful undead warriors called Nazarick Oldguarders.
Damn, I gotta fuck my way out of this again.
It's basically skeletons with magical weapons. Or enchanted weapons, I guess you could say, like where they're just infused with magic itself. So you have there's even a hammer that's like a Thor's hammer, where one of the skeletons hits you with it and just lightning damage automatically.
You ever played Tales of Iron? You ever heard of that game?
Yeah.
There's a Thor character in that game with a Thor hammer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a secret boss.
Oh, really?
It's a fucking douchebag.
They basically make quick work of the worker group, slaughtering all of them. Heavy Masher is chased by a number of Elder Liches, which is one of the other worker groups that went inside, that has a dwarf character.
So me.
Before the members basically can die by these Elder Liches, they run into different rooms that has a magic teleportation circle on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they go in and get transported automatically. So this is what I was talking about so many episodes back when we were talking about the areas and stuff like that and the different area guardians. So this is where you meet Kyohoku, the Roach King.
Oh, that one guy, yeah.
Yeah. And you also meet Neronus Painkiller. The
Cthulhu chick.
Yeah, that's where you meet her too. So in one of them, some of them are transported to the Black Capsule, which is the area that Kyohuko is, where they are fed to cockroaches, the family of the area guarding Kyohuko.
Jesus.
Then there's another member that is teleported to the torture chamber and tortured by Neronus Painkiller, and presumably is dead. Basically, the first thing that she's like, oh, I'm more beautiful than Albedo and all that kind of like
Illusion.
the delusion is real. And then it pulls out that little like pain tool. He's like, my creator had kidney stone once.
Mm.
And it's a rod with spikes on the end of it. It's like, you know where that's going. And he's like, oh, because he doesn't want to die that way. And then you have Tenmu, which is the other worker group. They encounter Hamsky. And Hamsky's in there just training with these lizards, those lizard men. Just in there kind of training. And they meet up with him. Now, Tenmu is a group that has a swordsman that has 3 elf slaves with him. 3 little elf slave girls. So they come in and they see Hamsky. He's training to become a warrior at this point. He's trying to learn martial arts, even though it's a fucking gigantic hamster. So after a brief fight, the leader of Tenyu, Urya, Ruth.
Try to learn Hamfu.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Instead of the panda.
Yeah.
He's killed easily after Hamsky.
Have you ever seen fucking Steven Seagal use knife work in a movie? Oh, good Jesus. Talk about a panda. Trying to learn how to fight. Panda style, knife wield. Like, please, Steven Seagal, please. I hope he does not belong. I hope he's so smart that he is like trolling everybody by pretending to be that person, and that he does not legitimately think he's that level of lethal.
I don't think we're that lucky.
Like, I just seeing him do that goofy knife moves. Oh my God,
it's bad.
It's horrendous.
It's very bad. So, okay. So moving on, Hamsky, he activates his martial arts skills because he did learn martial arts, slashing strike, and he cuts off the warrior's 2 arms.
God,
It's a very brutal fight.
She's like, oh, you shit.
With just blood squirting from his 2 thumbs left on his arms, and his sword still being held by his 2 arms on the ground.
Is it one of those like explosion blood spurts? How they like it?
And like, I guess a slight blood spurt.
The best way I can explain it is the movie, The Seven Samurai.
Right.
And they have a scene where 2 samurai have a duel, and it's one of those quick, like, first blade out, first slice, and that's it. The one chop kills the one guy.
Yeah.
It's like real sudden, and they do the sequence, and allegedly it was supposed to be a quick blood out from the capsule of the guy's clothes.
Yeah.
But it malfunctioned, and the tube just exploded, just like a fucking fountain of blood. And the director, who was so serious, but everyone was afraid of him. They thought when it malfunctioned, he was gonna lose his shit, but he burst out laughing. So that famous, like, huge blood spurts for movies that originated in Seven Samurai was because of a malfunction.
Really?
So, like, you know, like in Kill Bill, when they're fucking just fucking gushing, it's because of that. So that trademark of that movie is a complete accident.
And now it's
a major trope in movies like that. So and when you said like blood, I just assumed.
I would say it's probably halfway between there. Like there's
like if you look up Seven Samurai, it was in black and white, so you don't see any like that shit was just like go. I was like, God.
So like whenever that happens to this dude, he starts screaming for his 3 elf girls to heal him. But before he can do anything, Hamsky beheads him. With his tail. Where the tail smashes into the side of his head and he dies.
So beheads him or just cracked his skull?
He knocks his head off by hitting him in the side of the head.
Jesus.
Like, very brutal. His elf slaves are left alone as they start to kick his body at that point, leaving Hamsky uncertain as to what to do with them after. Because he's like, oh, is that normal for humans to kick you? Like, he doesn't understand anything because he's an animal, so he might be intelligent, but he's not, like, he hasn't been around humans to understand
the nuance of the human cruelty.
Right. So then you have Foresight, which is the group that we talked about at the beginning that has the warrior, the cleric, the elf girl, and then the girl that's wanted to take her two sisters away. They're teleported to the 6th floor arena, where they are introduced as invaders and will be facing Ainz himself.
My God.
It's like, oh shit. We move into episode 8. It's called A Handful of Hope. You only get a handful of it.
That's all I need.
So you have Foresight tries to apologize to Ainz for trespassing into Nazarick. But Ainz rebuffs their words, refusing to listen to their excuses and declaring them to be worse than maggots for daring to enter Nazarick as thieves without permission.
The Conqueror's like, hey.
The leader of Foresight, Hecaron, tries to bluff his way out of it and say they received permission from a large monster. Where he's like, but what if we were given permission then? He's like, okay, who gave you permission?
Oh, that guy. Just points to one of the crowd.
Well, he's like looking around trying to find their way to escape and shit like that. But Ainz eventually does see through the lie, which enrages him further. He rages so much that Shaltir and Cocytus both like cringe in fear because he's got this black aura coming off of him and everything. Like he gets so mad that suppressive ability that he has as an Elder Lich, it fails to suppress it for the first couple of seconds. Normally it activates almost instantly, but he is so pissed that they would discredit somebody being in that world that he was looking for of like one of his friends or something like that, that it pisses him off so much that even that buff doesn't activate automatically.
So he was hoping one of them was a real person, or
he was hoping that the person that whenever Hecaron said that somebody invited him and said that they were allowed to be there, he's thinking, okay,
one of his friends,
yeah,
from the old guild.
Yeah, because they said, well, he was shiny, so he was thinking, touch me. Maybe it was him.
Huh.
Like because he was just holding out hope that somebody was like from his former guild would be there, and he kind of let that lie get to him for a second, but then it just automatically pissed him off. So he initially attacks them with a sword and shield, as like no shirt on or anything, just skeleton and then pants. But while he overwhelms them in strength, his own skill, experience, and ability to work as a team allow them to remain alive relatively unharmed. Ainz decides that he has played around enough and reveals himself as a magic caster, where he drops his shield and his sword, and he's like, come at me then if you wish to die. The Arch initially denies his claim until Ainz takes off his ring to show her his true power, which he has been concealing during the physical battle itself. The impact of this reveal shocks Arch to the point where she vomits in sheer terror, and Foresight once more attempts to fight back.
He's like, oh my God, it's over 9,000.
Yeah.
He's like,
well, it was funny too because she can read your mana level. Like she can see mana levels, like your mana flowing around you. Like she can tell who's a spellcaster and not. So whenever
I like to use the bad mana. I don't know like what you seen in one movie. Like, I got low levels of mana.
I'm sure I've said it a few times.
Instead of mana, I just say mana.
Just like mana. But she can see it, so whenever he's like, come at me if you wish to die, and
he takes his shirt off like those guys in street fights, like, hey, come get it.
But she sees nothing. He's like, oh, you can see magic, huh? He's like, oh, excuse me.
Pulls his dick out.
So he takes off the ring, and she's like, she can't withstand it whatsoever. So they do try to put up a little bit of a fight. With Hecaron being eventually paralyzed by his touch of death ability, level 1. The name of the cleric is Robert Dyke.
Robert Dyke, wow. That has to be a player character.
And the elf is named Emina.
So Anima?
Robert Dyke and Emina. They tell Arsh to flee after Hecaron falls in order to go back to her sisters. Once she runs away, they beg Ainz to grant her mercy, and he accepts. But only by telling Shaltir to show Arsh the depths of despair and then to kill her painlessly.
Damn.
It's like, there's your mercy. He then beats Robert Ike and Emina completely way too easily.
He just shoves Emma right out Robert next.
He keeps Robert Ike for mental experiments. That's what he decides to do with him once he's defeated him easily. While Emina and Hecaron are given to... Oh, I'm going to fuck up this name, everybody. So, it's Gashokuhokuko. It's a long name. A parasitic NPC that makes their homes in people's bodies. I've talked about it as the area guardians at one point. Arsh attempts to run away from Shaltir.
You know what the most confusing name I can say?
What's that?
It's from Greek mythology.
Which one?
The Hecatoncheires.
The Hecatoncheires?
Yeah. If you see it like on paper, you're like, what the fuck? But I learned how to say
it. Like I said, I know I mispronounced that, but everybody should kind of know what that is if they've ever seen the anime or read any of the books. So it's a long word, but I know.
Figure it out.
I know I fucked it up. I'm taking responsibility. It's fine.
They give you like 18 pronunciations in the comments.
Yeah. But whenever Arsh ran away and he said that Shaltir should kill her like with ease or whatever, basically painlessly. Whenever you have Robert Ike, he's like, why would you think that's mercy? And Ainz looks at him, he's like, it is mercy. It's like, basically by any other thing that he could do, you're killing her painlessly and without any kind of other issues. That's like the most mercy he could possibly give. Considering that Demiurge may keep her alive and constantly regrow her skin so that way they can make scrolls.
Jesus, let it go. That's mercy. That went by. So erase her memory and throw her out the front door.
So you have her running from Shaltir, and she fails whenever she discovers that she's actually underground and there is no way out. Because it looks like a bright, clear sky up above in this amphitheater area.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the illusion. Yeah. So she hits like a wall that's like transparent. And she's like, transparent? It's like, no. You have Shaltir come up behind her. You're actually underground. After which, Shaltir reveals her true form, which looks like a lamprey, and kills her. Mara and Aura later travel to the Baharuth Empire. This is like the ending credits part of the episode, where they confront Emperor Zerknev by sending the workers into the tomb and demanding that he atone for this crime. So basically, it was a way to play it off on the Emperor, making it look like it was his idea.
I knew he had a fucking plan. I knew it was some weird, devious thing someone was planning.
Yeah. Next up, we have War of Words is the title of the episode.
Good at those.
So we open up with Emperor Zerknev traveling to Nazarick to apologize for the invasion of it. And is immediately given a show of Nazarick's power whenever they use Tier 6 magic easily to clear the skies.
For this trespass, we shall take your balls. Now you can leave. They just even though give balls.
Just not at all.
I'm like, damn.
And they use Death Knights, the monsters capable of slaughtering armies for menial tasks like setting up tables with orange juice on it.
And let me say, I've been drinking so much goddamn orange juice since I got the cold. Like, and every bottle says it's two full oranges. So I've just been drinking like 8 oranges in one day.
Just downing that shit. Ainz further.
And they have these pills at the general store. They're like the size of your throat. And you swallow these with water. I'm like, I got no other choice. If I swallow them dry, I'll die.
You're talking about the round ones, right?
They are round as fuck, and they're just like the actual size on the picture. They're like as big as your fucking fist.
You know there's Jucho War, right?
No, they're the solid like blue, like just like a brick. And like I wouldn't chew these at all. Look. It's like those clear ones, like the ones with gel, but like the gel's like hard. No, I'm like, I ain't chewing that.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking of the powdery ones.
No, I wouldn't chew those either. That shit tastes like medicine. The medicine tastes like medicine.
Who would have thought?
But man, these are like, I bought these pills up the size of your fucking knuckles.
All right, so we have Ainz further showing off his power when he is given the head of the noble from Zerknev, who was responsible for sending the workers in the first place.
His facade is like, thank you, but in my like humor, like, what the fuck?
Well, no, he turns that into a Death Knight. So he drops it and uses it as the basis for another Dead Knight.
I know, like, that's like his like evil persona, right?
Yeah.
But my human world mind be like, oh my fucking, that's a fucking head. You know what I mean? Like my monologue, oh my, that's a fucking skull.
Just a head in a jar.
Like there's just a head, like the intros are dropping from the bottom of his stomach.
And his mind is throwing up.
Right, you know, like, I accept this gift. Yes, gift, thank you. You gotta make me the English translator. I have to be hilarious.
Yeah. You'll have to definitely watch all these episodes, though. Ainz reveals his intention to crush anyone who would dare go against him at this point, and restore peace to his surroundings, because he says, "We have lived in peace, and you have sent these workers to my doorstep, huh?" Even though this was the whole point of everything anyway.
Yes.
So that way they had a reason. And Jertnev extends an offer as friendship to protect the Bahamut.
Like, it was like, my bad.
While suggesting that Nazariq establish a proper kingdom, but secretly intends to set up an alliance behind his back in order to defeat him. So he's like, yes, start your own nation. Start your own nation.
You should become a nation, and we'll be an alliance, and then he leaves like, fuck you, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's
over.
Yeah. However, Demiurge has already figured out the Emperor's plans to begin with. And
I feel like that's like if I was what's his name? The leader? Alzengon? I can't remember.
Einzelgon.
Einzelgon. I'm like, Demiurge. Like, as I have also figured out their plan, but why don't you tell me what your few things, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's what happened.
I was thinking pretty much the same thing.
It's the exact same thing. Because he reveals the plan that he has foreseen to Ainz and the other NPCs.
And I'd be like, oh yes, that's exactly what I figured out as well myself.
Where he's like, yes, because Demiurge's whole thing is he's like, smart people are easier to read than dumb people. So you can know where they're going to go on certain things because they have so much confidence in their abilities that they're always going to go down certain paths. So he's already figured out their ideas and what they're going to do.
Huh.
Because he's even higher.
I'd like to see him fight the Joker.
To be honest, if we were going off of anime, Demiurge and like comic book Joker, Demiurge wins. Like Demiurge is like evil upon evil.
It's a Joker though.
I would not.
Demiurge like, damn, you evil as fuck, sir.
Jertnev realizes that Fluter Paradigm, the mage that he has actually been working with Ainz the entire time and has betrayed him. This is confirmed in a flashback where Ainz has revealed his true power to Fluter, who in turn pledges his undying loyalty to Ainz in exchange for giving Fluter the opportunity to peer into the abyss of magic.
To the abyss.
So whenever the swords of not the swords of but darkness. The group with Momon and Nabe went to the Bahamut Empire and requested a meeting with Fluter Paradigm, which was in the previous episode, or a couple of episodes back. He revealed his true nature to Fluter Paradigm, where he was still in his raven black armor, but he took off the armor of his hand where it was skeleton hand.
And look upon me. And he's like, oh, yes. God.
Yes, he's like, and he says, what will you give me in return? And you have Fluter Paradigm, everything. So then we go into episode 11, which is called Another Battle. Super descriptive here.
At least they're simple.
Yeah. Sorry. Did I bypass one? Yes.
So, night.
10, sorry.
10.
Yeah. Preparation for War.
There we
the title of it.
So then it's battle.
Then another battle, yeah. So Preparation for War. Ainz establishes the sorcerer kingdom of Nazariq and demands that the Riestes kingdom, which that they're in right now with like Gazef and all those main characters that we've already met, withdraw from the lands around Erantil, claiming they belong to the sorcerer kingdom. And the Bahamut Empire backs him in this because, of course, they're trying to pretend like they're friends with him.
I just imagine the guy from Bahamut just every time Eyes looks at him, right, he just like always thumbs up.
Yeah, basically.
But then when he turns out, he flips.
That's kind of how it is, though. Gazef requests the king to do what Ainz asks, claiming fighting Ainz would be a terrible idea, since Gazef, the head warrior, has already met Ainz and seen what he can do, basically. But the king refuses, as doing so would be a sign of weakness, and he cannot afford to show weakness when the royal faction in the Reestes kingdom has already begun to grow in strength after the Yaldabaoth incident, which happened last season.
Yeah, man, I'll cut my dick off if I show any weakness.
Marcus Raven agrees with this plan and path, and is set up as commander for the war. Crown Prince Barbaro, the one that was in with the Eight Fingers at last season, where you found out that he had all these strings in the underworld too. This prince is eager to prove himself and tries to join in, but instead is sent to Carne Village, where Neferia and all the, like, where we were at a couple of episodes back, to question the villagers about Ainz. Barbaro decides to draft the villagers once he has questioned them in order to use them as hostages against Ainz. This is his plan, anyway, that he's going to go to Carne Village and force them to basically be their slaves and use them as a shield against Ainz, as hit their hostages.
Does he even care?
Ainz, about everybody else in the village? No, just about those, technically 4 people now. So you have Neferia, Enri's little sister, and Neferia's grandmother. Those are the only ones that he really cares about if they live or die. Ainz arrives at the Baharuth Empire, their army camp, before summoning his army of Death Knights through a gate. So he comes to this, they go to this, like the gathering of the Baharuth army's troops within like their little fence and their tents that they have set up in preparation for war, their annual war with the Reestes kingdom. And he's like, "Oh, can I bring my army?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, he tells Shaltir to open up the gate, and it's just this massive line of Death Knights that walk through, each one capable of destroying a town. And they're like, "Oh, fuck, we let him bring this?" Like, the looks on their faces like, "Oh, shit." So then we go into episode 11, Another Battle. Barbaro's army arrives at Carne Village at this point, and Enri, the new chief, struggles to delay them and hide the goblins and ogres. Barbaro has a watchtower burnt down as a threat, saying, if you don't open up the gates, everything after this is going to be you dying. So he burnt down their little watchtower. But the action only reminds the villagers of the incident Ainz saved them from in the first episodes, inspiring the villagers to take up arms against Barbaro for Ainz. Lupus Regina watches the incident unfold and is broadcasting everything that she sees to Ainz through telecommunication. Enri and Neferia decide to lead the women and children out the back, while the able-bodied men, goblins, and ogres act as distractions from the front of the village. The strategy seems to work, but the soldiers present at the back notice the fleeing villagers, and in an attempt to delay them, Enri blows the second goblin horn that Ainz had given her. Now this is where it gets extremely weird, because it shocks even Ainz whenever this happens. But somehow she summons not a small group of mercenary-like goblins, but an army of goblins 5,000 strong.
Jesus Christ.
Because again,
an army.
Because again, the horn is called the horn of the goblin general, I think. So if you meet special conditions, as like how she's given those goblins that she's had, that she summoned the first time, she's given them weapons, she's been extremely nice to them, she's given them names, like she's treated them as normal people. So since that's happened, she's basically become like a general almost.
They leveled up, I guess? Or just, I guess if we're talking about like terms of a video game, the specific like level requirements to actually use the full capabilities of the item?
Yes.
Okay.
And Ainz didn't even know that was going to happen when he gave them to her. She's like, because he thought, it just summoned some low-level goblins nobody really cares about.
My human translation.
Because Ainz is surprised, but he theorizes that the horn, in fact, hides a true power that no one has been able to unlock in the Yggdrasil game itself.
Right.
Like, it's just something nobody paid too much attention to. Because it's like one of those throwaway things that you get during those like special events and stuff.
I wish secret games were. I wish there were secrets like that in games now, but all the fucking programmers, they sift through the source code. Of the game and they find everything.
Yeah.
Man,
it's kind of annoying sometimes.
There's no secrets anymore.
No.
Like imagine finding a secret boss in Dark Souls or something no one's ever fought with.
I know it'd be really cool.
But you couldn't because they already.
The code says that
there is no
like you even know whenever they're gonna add DLCs and shit. Oh, they left this patch open for this.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, that takes the mystery out of it.
Yeah, it does. So then you have Henry somehow unlocking this, unlocking these special conditions. The Goblin army proves to be more than a match for Barbaro's conscripts and sends them running, saving the village. Later, Barbaro's army is surrounded by level 41 redcaps. They're these goblins that wear literally red caps. But they're like they're not assassins, but they're like the highest level, yeah, special forces. Like the highest level goblin you could possibly find. And Lupus Regina, who reveals her intentions of massacring Barbaro's remaining army and himself. Barbaro attempts to bargain, pointing out that he is the crown prince, but Lupus Regina is unconcerned, pointing out that he is not necessary for Ainz's plans anymore, with that weird smile, and she just kills him.
Damn.
That's how the episode ends, too, is that you just see him die.
Just don't kill me, please.
He's begging and crying, and next episode is called Massacre.
Huh. It went from an assembly of war to a battle to a massacre.
Yes. We're at a massacre now. So we have Zherknev reveals to his advisors that he plans to have Ainz cast the first stone in the upcoming war, in order to truly gauge his strength and to reveal the threat he poses to the world, hoping to use that and have the Riestes kingdom realize the necessity of an alliance. The Baharut's empire is 60,000 strong army, consists of well-trained knights, while the kingdom's army is 240,000 strong, but consists mainly of average people, conscripts over trained soldiers.
Well, that's the worst.
Yes. So you have Gazif and Marquis Raven at the front lines, and Gazif has been given the 4 treasures of the kingdom, which are the basically the armor and then a sword, called Razor's Edge. It's a adamantite armor, which is like highest tier armor that this world has. It's not a world class item or anything like that, just like one of the highest they can get. And a magic sword called Razor's Edge that can cut through basically anything like butter, is what they say. Gauntlets of Endurance that provide endless stamina, and the Amulet of Immortality that provides regeneration. Those are the 4.
Endless stamina, huh?
Yeah.
A man who loves fucking could really use that.
So you have Ainz. He approaches the front lines with his army of Death Knights, but he proceeds to cast a super tier spell. Whenever he goes to go cast it, he's like, oh, so there are no other players here. Because whenever you cast super tier magic, you're the first one targeted. So it was a way to root out any players that would have been in this world at this point. Because most of the players would automatically go for him, and they didn't. So he casts the spell.
Is it just a giant fist coming down, just cracking everybody?
Yeah, well. So he goes to go cast the spell, and on realizing the danger that Ainz poses, Marquis Raven and Gazif attempt to issue an order of retreat, but fails to do so in time. So they see this gigantic spill go into the sky with bright white light before the spell's even cast completely. And you got Marquis Raven and Gazif's like, oh, fuck, we're done for. Retreat. They have 240,000 people. I was like, fuck this shit. We're gone. So the left flank of the knight's army, the kingdom's army, consists of 70,000 men. They all charge as Ainz casts his spell. It's called Lashub Nigurath was the name of the spell.
It translates for you done fucked up.
Which slaughters the entire left flank of 70,000
grand, huh?
And proceeds to sacrifice them to summon 5 massive monsters called the Dark Young, which are like these goats that he calls baby goats with gigantic mouths.
Like a metal band. The Dark Young.
Yes. Who he directs towards the kingdom's army to literally crush them underfoot because they're gigantic. And he said he wants them all to clap because he's set a new record after the game. That the most that anybody has ever summoned before was 3, and he summoned 5. He's like, clap for my greatness.
But one of his minions like, what are we clapping for?
Well, all the people like that are part of the Baharut Empire, there's like, oh, where they're clapping real fast and they just start scattering. So you have Gazif attempts to fight back against these goats, the Dark Young. But the Dark Young proved to be way too unstoppable, until Ainz walks onto the battlefield and approaches Gazif directly and asks him to become a subordinate in exchange for calling off the Dark Young. Gazif refuses, even as Ainz tries to goad him into it. And just as Ainz is about to continue the massacre, Gazif challenges Ainz to a duel.
I summon. Fuck agree. What if I just had like a deck of like 50%? That's all one full turn, and I lose the next turn because I can't summon another card.
Pretty much, yeah. There's nothing to do. So then we go into the final episode of the season, which is called PvP.
Player versus player. But he's not a player, is he?
No, but he's teaching them how to be a player versus player. So you have Gazov challenging Ainz, despite knowing that he has no chance of winning.
What if he just poked him in the eye? I was like, Ainz like, oh, fuck, bro.
No, that would be funny. And Ainz accepts the duel. Before fighting, Ainz examines Gazov's sword to reveal that he has unknown properties, and despite being imbued with lesser amounts of mana, it is able to harm him and possibly kill him.
You got 3 levels of meta.
So he basically tells Gazov, this sword could kill me.
And he just fucking swing. I should have told you that.
Well, I don't think he really cares too much. The duel begins. Climb, which is the retainer for the princess, Rainier, is asked to be the starter of the duel and asks if he can use a magic bell as the sign to start. Ainz agrees. As soon as Climb rings the bell, Ainz casts time stop magic. So it's nothing going on, just him moving. Just Ainz alone. He uses an instant death spell to kill Gazov during the stopped time. He calls off the Dark Young afterwards out of respect for Gazov, but warns Brain that if the kingdom refuses to surrender, then there will be a rampage through the capital. So basically, from Brain Unglasses, which is the guy that ran from Shaltir, and Climb, the retainer for Rainier, when you have them witnessing the fight between Gazov and Ainz Gon in this duel, it literally happens in a blink of an eye. And Gazov is dead. So 1 minute he's standing, the next he's hunched over the arm of Ainz Gon, because he caught him from actually falling.
I got you, boo, don't you worry.
So to them, it just happened instantaneously. But to Ainz, he stopped time and killed him within
45 hours later.
For fun. Just, you're dead now. So Zherknev, at this point, the emperor, he is informed about Ainz's power, much to his horror. He's like, oh, fuck, 70,000 people. He's like, I thought it was going to be like 5. Fuck. Like, he's about to have a heart attack. He can't deal with it. The king and the nobles of the kingdom at this point are terrified as a result and have no choice but to give up Irantel as per Ainz's demands. So he eventually gets Irantel anyway. Brain and Climb believe that Gazov's useless attempt to fight Ainz was a way to help them learn more about him, to set up their defenses, and Brain vows to become better than Gazov. Where he's like, oh, you died before we could fight again, huh, bro? He's like, okay. He's like, hey, I'm not going to let you go out that way. I'll get stronger than you. Then you have Ainz. He arrives in Irantel and a large procession, but all the people hide inside out of fear because they see this gigantic army of just undead walking into Irantel.
I imagine they're running through, right?
Right.
And then, like, there's no noise in the town. You just hear, like, boo, who said that? Like, boo. And Heinz said, who's that? Go.
Well, we don't have booze, but we do have this. A child attempts to throw a rock at Ainz.
Like, you little motherfucker.
But the sign of disrespect... The sign of disrespect has Albedo attempt to execute him right then and there. So Albedo brings out this gigantic black axe and he's like, how dare you throw a rock? He's getting ready to behead the little kid.
And it does like 2, it's like the rock did like 5 points of damage. I was like, ow! God dang!
But the kid is saved by Momon. Momon appears, the Black Raven Knight. Momon, played by Pandora's actor, is enlisted by Ainz to act as a city representative and law enforcer. This is revealed to be part of Demiurge's plan in order to find and kill any enemies that the humans will rally under Momon, while Momon serves Ainz. So he uses that doppelganger to imitate.
Yeah, and like or his counterpart, I guess, in the town, or
so that way they're seen together.
Yeah,
but
they're not like connected.
Yes, exactly. The Guardians once more pledge their fidelity to Ainz as the Sorcerer King at this point, and he declares it to be the founding of the Sorcerer Kingdom. Because he asks them, so, I'm king now of this kingdom. What should I be called? And they start like randomly coming up with different names for him, the floor guardians. So like you have one of them saying, beautiful king. And then another one, warrior king. Which of course is Cocytus, since he's a warrior. Or no, sorry, he's the one that comes up with sorcerer king, which makes the most sense because he says, it's like, we shall name you sorcerer king since you use magic. It's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So you just dumb as bricks, but you got the right name.
Exactly. But the rest of it's like, the beautiful king. It's like, what the fuck? Gracious king. Like, just random shit that nobody cares about. But the one that's like all warrior and strayful, sorcerer king.
I wish, if it was me, I would have had a character that was a counter balance to me.
Yeah.
But you know, like they're all super loyal, right?
Yes.
I have a character that's loyal but honest. So they're all saying like, "Beautiful king, sorcerer king." I'm like, "What? You're a bitch."
Well, the one that does talk to him kind of like that is Pandora's actor, where Pandora's actor actually questions him and wants to know more. Since Ainz created him as the NPC in that the game of Yggdrasil, that was the only character that Ainz had actually created. So as his creation, he does ask him questions. He's the one that also dresses like a Nazi general. So
it's always your child that questions you.
Yes, pretty much. But that is how we actually end season 3
with Nazis.
Well, with the Nazi character playing Momon. Yes.
Is the series over?
One more season.
But I mean, like, is the series over or?
No, it's still being written. It's light novels mostly.
Light novels, huh?
Hmm.
What's the difference from novels?
Light novels are not so it's not like a Harry Potter thick book.
So Harry Potter 4, that was a thick bitch. Jesus.
That was a thick bitch with 3 C's.
I think, man,
3 C's on each.
But like 1, 2, and 3, right? But then 4 came out. I was like, that's a big girl right there.
But any questions or anything about it?
When can I debut my my dumb version? Overlord.
Hey, we can do that.
Oh man,
we can do voiceovers. That's cool. I'll show you the anime, and then you can do your voiceovers for it. But we will talk to you guys on the next one.
Adios.